Some people tell you everything about their life within minutes of meeting you. Their trauma, their heartbreak, their fears, their regrets. Other people tell you almost nothing. They stay composed, measured, hard to read. Most people assume the first group is open and the second group is emotionally unavailable. That assumption is wrong, because oversharing and emotional silence aren't personality traits, they're regulation strategies, and both are responses to the same question: is it safe for me to exist as I am?
Oversharing is often praised as authenticity. Silence is often criticized as coldness. But psychologically, neither tells you who someone is. They tell you what someone's nervous system learned to do. Oversharing says, if I show you everything now, maybe I won't be abandoned later. Silence says, if I show you nothing, nothing can be used against me. Both are attempts at control. Both are attempts at safety. Neither is neutral.
Let's start with oversharing. Oversharing usually isn't about connection. It's about preemptive exposure. When someone has learned that intimacy comes with unpredictability, love that's inconsistent, attention that disappears without warning, their nervous system adapts. It learns, if I give you all of me immediately, you can't later reject what you don't know. Oversharing floods the interaction. It removes suspense. It collapses distance too fast. And here's the key part. It's not done to be seen, it's done to reduce anxiety. Talking regulates, confessing regulates, explaining regulates. The person feels calmer, not because they connected, but because the tension inside them dropped. That's why oversharing often happens with strangers. There's no real relational risk, no long-term consequences, just relief.
Now, silence, emotional silence, isn't always maturity. Sometimes it's containment. People who learned that expressing needs led to punishment, ridicule, or dismissal often develop hyper-control. They don't emote, they don't vent, they don't explain. Not because they don't feel, but because feeling out loud once cost them too much. Silence becomes protection, composure becomes armor, distance becomes safety. Here's where things get twisted. Oversharers are often labeled too much, needy, emotionally immature. Silent people are labeled strong, mysterious, emotionally intelligent. But those labels are lazy. Oversharing can be a sign of unresolved threat. Silence can be a sign of unresolved fear. Neither automatically means health. Real emotional regulation looks boring. It doesn't dump, it doesn't disappear, it shares gradually, it responds proportionally, it doesn't rush intimacy or withhold it. And that's why healthy regulation often feels unfamiliar, especially if chaos or suppression felt like home. You see this in relationships. The person who tells you their entire trauma history on the second date isn't being vulnerable. They're trying to fast-track safety. The person who never tells you what hurts them isn't being strong. They're trying to avoid exposure. You see it at work. The colleague who over-explains every decision isn't incompetent. They're trying to prevent criticism before it happens. The colleague who says almost nothing isn't confident. They've learned visibility has a cost. You see it online. Oversharing posts, cryptic silence, emotional flooding, emotional disappearance. Different behaviors, same nervous system question. What keeps me safe?
The goal isn't to become quieter. The goal isn't to become more open. The goal is choice. Can you pause before sharing and ask whether you're connecting or regulating? Can you notice when silence feels protective versus when it feels avoidant? Because the moment you can tell the difference, you stop confusing exposure with intimacy and restraint with strength.
Oversharing isn't honesty. Silence isn't wisdom. They're both adaptations. And once you see them that way, you stop judging yourself and you stop misreading others. Not everything that's loud is open. Not everything that's quiet is healed. Sometimes it's just a nervous system doing what it learned to survive.
If this made something click for you, not emotionally, but internally, that's the kind of work this channel is for. I don't make videos to give advice. I make them to help you see patterns you were never taught to name. If that's something you want more of, subscribe. Not for motivation, not for comfort, but for clarity.